Alright, hello everybody and welcome to week 2 of Pokemon Masters League Season 5. We are currently 1-0 after a nice win last week um against Belizard, EK Jesus and the Belizards, and this week we are going up against Ultzz and the Los Angeles Renegades. Our two teams are on the screen, and this is quite an interesting matchup for sure. Um, I think my opponent can do kind of any number of things. I I did get a bit confused by like there's a little something I got maybe slightly like the team having all the Cocos, all the Tapus besides Lele, is definitely something you have to worry about, like in some capacity, because like electric terrain, like Coco and electric terrain does a lot, but really the one that is kind of most potentially damaging is something like Tapu Fini's Misty Terrain. And poison type moves are very good against this team in general. You have Coco who takes super effective damage. Bulu takes 4x. Fini takes 2x. Sinistcha takes 2x. Roselia also Roselia is neutral. So poison's really good against this team in general, and Torkoal is not specially defensive, so I think I'm gonna try and take advantage this week of their weakness to poison type attacks, as well as potentially two flying type attacks. And we're gonna try to put together a pretty good team. So let's actually look at my opponent's whole team. They have he has Weavile, Tapu Koko, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Tapu Fini, Sinistcha, and Torkoal as first six from the OU and UU. Out of the RU section, he has Tapu Bulu with Terra, Mega Houndoom, and Grafaiai. And then from his rest picks, he has Roselia, he has Claydol, and he has Kofagrigus. He has the Coffin himself sitting down there. From my end, I do have a new Pokemon, as you can see. I have made the free agent acquisition of Abomasnow over Electros, because Electros and Zapdos really was holding some of the same like types of role, where you want an electric type that can't be hit by ground type moves. And now Abomasnow is here in case of things like Torkoal, and for my opponent last week being a Sand team, who I know I'm facing both of those teams twice. So I will, yeah, I don't think Abomasnow will come to a ton of matches, but it'll come to some matches. So it's not coming. I don't believe it's going to come this week. I will show you my team here shortly, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what I have brought, what I will be bringing to this match, and what I expect from my opponent. Okay, and here is the team that I will be using this week against Ultzz. It starts with my Mega Lopunny. Same set as last week, slightly different EV, so we're running Fake Out, Return, Triple Axle, U-Turn. Obviously, we want to be... Obviously, a fast U-Turn with Mega Lopunny is very good. Then... Return is necessary. Triple Axle hits quite a lot of Pokemon just for kind of neutralish damage. But mainly Triple Axle hits Tapu Bulu. Next up, we'll talk about Victini. This week, I am Boots. I'm a physical set with 252, 152. I'm Adamant, so this is to beat Adamant. So this outspeeds Adamant Tapu Bulu with max speed investment. And the rest goes into HP, so we're a little bit bulkier. Bolt Strike, V-Create, U-Turn, Taunt. Taunt is for Calm Mind setups, or for... It's to stop consistent Calm Minds, even though Bolt Strike is just really good. I feel like Taunt is just there in case of annoyances. And it's not a terrible move, and because of Misty Terrain, I can't really run Toxic or Will-O-Wisp or anything like that. And I couldn't think of anything else. Next up, we have Bibu the Deontay. My Terra Pokemon is back. It is literally the exact same set, just a little bit of difference in the EVs. Same Terra type. It just works out super great. We're lefties again. And yeah, Moonblast, Earth Power, Body Press, Iron Defense. I don't think Iron Defense was super necessary. I just couldn't think of really another move. Maybe there was something I missed. And maybe if we look at the matchup, and I would love to get some interaction with what people think I should be doing for my final move. And next up, we'll go to my Greninja. We have Grenade, the Greninja. This is another Life Orb set. We're running Surf, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Ice Beam. We are set to be faster than, oh gosh, what is it? Just the next Pokemon down from Greninja, pretty much. It's probably, I don't remember, Timid Nature, Surf, U-Turn, Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, Sludge Wave hitting a lot of things. Oh, this is supposed to be faster than Mega Houndoom. This outspeeds Mega Houndoom with max speed plus speed nature. So yeah, this set is good into most of his team. Sludge Wave hits a lot of things neutrally. Surf does a ton of damage outside of the sun, and Ice Beam does good damage to Bulu as well. If the sun is up, then we can just Ice Beam it instead of hit it with a Sludge Wave. Next up, we have the Green Ranger. We have Scizor, Technician Scizor with Bullet Punch, Close Combat, U-Turn, Swords Dance. Adamant Nature, 248 HP, 252 attack, and 8 special defense EVs. It's very similar to last week. Bullet Punch does a lot into this team because he's a lot of fairy type, so Steel is neutral into most of his team, if not super effective. So and into Weavile too. It's a good Weavile. It's a good way to force Weavile out. Is to click Bullet Punch. Is to just be clicking Bullet Punch because you'll do damage to whatever comes in. And lastly but not least, we have Jackass the Shaman. Shaman's first appearance on the season. Leftovers. I kind of threw this together last second, so we have 104 HP, we have 252 special attack, 152 speed, and we are Modest Nature to do a lot of damage. Honestly, it probably turned out, probably should have made this a little bit more defensive, but I didn't really have that much time because I was literally putting this together a minute before for Shaman. I thought Shaman's matchup was really great. I think Petulant could have come this week. I did not like Latios' matchup all that much onto 3 fairy types. It's very difficult unless we're Scarf Latios to deal with that, pretty much. And yeah. This is what I brought. For my opponent's side, I believe we're going to see probably not the entirety of his team from last week. I could see him bringing, I don't know. I guess my big thing would be, maybe we bring Torkoal for sunsetting for Mega Houndoom, because that seems like we picked Torkoal to keep that Pokemon able to have largely good attacks. And honestly, it's not a bad play into my team. I don't have that many. I do have quite a lot of fire, a lot of Pokemon that are weak to fire, or just not very defensive. But overall, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this week. I think the matchup is probably favored for me, or just a pretty even matchup in general. So I will come back once the match is over and we can review what happened. Alright everyone, my match with Ultzz has concluded. I have the replay up, I'm ready to review. And so let's take a look at my week 2 match in PML. So my opponent brought Torkoal, Houndoom, Tapu Koko, Weavile, Tapu Fini, Tapu Bulu. I planned for all of the Tapus. I did plan for Weavile and Mega Houndoom. Torkoal, not the biggest surprise at all. I do have plenty of ways to be able to deal with Torkoal. It's very weak on the special side, so typically Deontay or Greninja will do just fine into it, as well as potentially Shaman, because Shaman has Earth Power this week. So let's get into it. So I'll talk about the lead. So this week I decided to lead Mega Lopunny. Last week I felt that my Greninja lead was fine, potentially in the end, and I just really struggled to I really struggled to see any other good lead into a Tapu Koko other than Lopunny. Especially seeing that Lopunny's especially seeing that Mega Lopunny's Fake Out did a lot of damage to Tapu Koko. So yeah, I went ahead and led Lola We got the Fake Out doing 32%. That's a pretty good roll. I don't know if that's a high roll. I don't know if that was a max roll or close to it, but it was definitely a good roll for me. So we get the flinch. And I think turn 2 is where the interesting part happens. I'm deciding whether I just want... I'm not sure if this thing is going to be scarfed or not. Sometimes you can just go like a scarf lead. Last week I know that Ultzz brought a choice specs Tapu Koko. And I believe when I calced this, if this was scarf, I always lived. So I always was clicking return there because I was always getting the KO. So we click return, we get the KO. And then we see Tapu Bulu come in. And in my head, alarm bells did not go off in my head that this is gonna be scarf. Like looking back at it now, it makes perfect sense. Like if this thing wasn't scarf, if there was no scarf for Mega Lopunny, I might have actually just full swept this match besides Torkoal. Including beating a Weavile even with Sucker Punch. I really probably would have lost to Fini. Like Tapu Fini's is the more traditional answer to this, just a physical defensive Tapu Fini. But Ultzz went into Bulu, and here most times I'm probably just supposed to realize he's clicking some move. He's either clicking a fighting move or he's clicking he's either clicking like play rough or superpower or close combat or some fighting or fairy move into me. So I probably should have switched. There isn't really necessarily a great switch for a close combat. A lot of my team is very unbulky, and I certainly don't want to lose my Deontay right away. So yeah, I stay in, and I ended up barely living. This is the lowest roll. This is the min roll. And this min roll, I think, saves me the game. I think this min roll saves me a lot of extra diff. Maybe not the whole game, but definitely differential. For sure. So we get that, and then we hit a triple axle, and we get the KO back on the Bulu. And so now Mega Lopunny has two KOs. And here I really was like wondering if there was if there was like a way that I should like switch, that I could like get a good switch off. And I did, and in the end I decided there was no good switch. So I ended up just letting Queen Lola go down, because there's essentially, like, if he doesn't click Ice Shard, he loses his Weavile, and that's probably match, because Weavile's a bit annoying for my team. And I have no way of knowing what type of set this is, so I go into Scizor, and he hard switches. Now, I think looking back that this hard switch probably tells me that it's banned, or that he's at least choice locked. Considering that he switches out on my Scizor. Now, he might have just like not knowing that he was choice scarf at this time, or not knowing that he was choice locked, because spoiler alert, he is choice banded on Weavile. I should have had an idea that he was locked into something, that he locked himself into that move when he switches out immediately when I bring in Green Ranger. I mean, obviously he can't make another click other than, like, he probably needed to only click Ice Shard there, and even then my Bullet Punch still goes through afterwards. So he still goes down. So, like, I just made a big threat to him. I believe I clicked U-turn expecting the switch this time. And I did get the Greninja in front of Torkoal. Essentially, I have Greninja in because I am a special attacker, and his special defense is really bad. I was expecting to eat something like an eruption, and to maybe take a ton of damage on this Greninja. So I was ready, but because I knew that I knew for a fact that Sludge Wave did a lot. So it did 69% and a very nice amount of damage to the Torkoal. And Torkoal clicks Stealth Rocks. Rock's not actually that big of a deal into my team. The only Pokemon that doesn't want to see Rocks is Victini, and I put Boots on Victini this week. So I'm not worried. I was not worried about that during the match at all. Shaman doesn't take a lot from Rocks. Deontay doesn't. Neither would neither would the Green Ranger. So here I just make another Sludge Wave click. There really isn't a good... He really doesn't have a switch into Sludge Wave because it's like essentially Protean works like pretty much like a Terra. It's pretty much like terastallizing your Pokemon a little bit. It's not as strong though. Your moves don't do quite as much. And here comes Weavile, and here is I was trying to decide what type of damage I would be taking from Knockoff. And his set last week was heavy duty boots, but I guess this week he looked and saw that I probably wasn't gonna bring any rocks, which was a good call. I did actually consider rocks on Deontay, to be fair. But I ended up not going through with it. So he goes for a knockoff that does 92%, and there I was like, oh, this is Choice Banded. Because this is what made me see that this was a Choice Banded max, not necessarily max speed Weavile, but definitely faster than, at least speed crap to be faster than my Gren. So I brought in Scizor to once again threaten him, and I ended up I'm still gonna make the Bullet Punch click here because even knowing they're going to Tapu Fini, I'm still dealing about 30%. And here, with the sun up for one more turn only, I went for a Swords Dance, expecting Nature's Madness, because this is the only thing that Tapu Fini can do into my Pokemon besides go for Scalds, except for go for Scalds to pray for burns. So what do? I click Bullet Punch for 55% of her health. Of Fini's health. So we get the KO. So Green Ranger gets the KO here. And now with Misty Terrain up still, I suspect, like, I didn't really decide anything, but I just knew that I knew I just had to make this click. And my opponent did read that pretty well. I should have read Nasty Plot. If I had read Nasty Plot, I'm always just supposed to click CC and I win the game from that. However, it's really tough to not just say he's gonna click Fire Blast into me. Fire Blast always KOs, but it was the right call for him to go for the out of I am now a +2 Houndoom and you have to beat me. But I did have a very good answer into Houndoom. So Bullet Punch comes in, it does 42%. And I just eat the Dark Pulse, and it gets me. Which I was expecting Flamethrower or Fire Blast. I think he probably ran Fire Blast, but you don't want to risk missing. Because if he misses, then he just loses the game completely on the spot. So, play a move that doesn't miss. He does go for the Fire Blast. I had Deontay EV to not take too much damage. I'm very special bulky this week. Moonblast comes in, gets the KO. Moonblast, in case we do go for a cheeky, switch, Earth Power. I did not want to click Earth Power into that. I could have clicked Body Press as well. I thought Moonblast was a better click. And here, my opponent goes for Knockoff, which I also knew I wasn't taking much from, and I clicked Body Press to get the KO. I'm pretty sure that Body Press was the only one-hit KO move. Weavile's not that bad on the bulky side. But anyways, we get the win. So now we're 2-0. We are now 2-0 on the season. And even though differential doesn't matter, I am, just by proxy of keeping track, I am +5 in the first 2 weeks, sitting at 2-0. I currently lead my division. And I believe I will be solo leader of the division after the week. Because Ultzz won last week. So that was the battle of 1-0. So I will be the top of my division. I'm 2-0. Ultzz will be 1-1. Matthew and Bellyzarg will play this week, and they will be and one of them will go to 1-1, and one will go to 0-2. So next week I'm very excited. I will be playing Danka's dad in the plus ultra Palafins, and yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing you guys that match next week. So I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel for more draft video content.